Welcome everybody to the RedZone Report right here on the Built-in Buffalo YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. X and Facebook. Brought to you by PLB Sports and Entertainment, the makers of Josh's Jacks, the JA17 line of coffee, and the Stephon Diggs line of hot sauces. Diggs 14, baby. Please enjoy the show. Welcome back, everybody. This is the RedZone Report brought to you by PLB Sports and Entertainment. And we are live on X, Facebook, and YouTube. The Buffalo Bills today clinched the AFC East title for the fourth straight year. Let's go! And rocking on the show will be, again as usual, my co-host, co-founder of Built in Buffalo, Arich Izzy. Welcome back, baby.
Yes. AFC East champs 4 years in a row, Buffalo Bills. An amazing feeling. Arich Izzy. If you don't know us by now, get to know us. This is Built in Buffalo. Izzy, we did it. We did it once again, baby. AFC East champs.
Hell yeah. I want to act like I've been here before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is, and this is what makes this so special is the type of season the Buffalo Bills went through, the type of things they had to endure early. They got off to that start. Then we went off to go to London, and Matt Milano goes down, and Daquan Jones goes down, and later on, Tre'Davious White goes down, and we have problems within the secondary. Sean McDermott is having trouble finishing games on defense and coaching issues. We talk about game in and game out, and we're thinking about the struggles of Sean McDermott and wondering if he's the guy for the job, if he's the guy that can make the necessary plays, the necessary calls in crunch time situations. And we was all concerned about that. We had the struggles against the Denver Broncos. We had the struggles against the New England Patriots and the Cincinnati Bengals and the Philadelphia Eagles. We had the article come out with Tyler Dunn talking about and criticizing the character of Sean McDermott at our lowest point in probably of Sean McDermott's tenure with the Buffalo Bills, sitting at 6-6, sitting in 11th place, and having that article coming out questioning if you're even liked amongst your peers and around the organization, and to come out and win 5 games in a row, to come out and do what they did under the scrutiny that was faced, just shows the greatness of Sean McDermott in terms of being calm, staying cool and collective, and having his guys stay around him, and showing and proving that the NFL, the season is a marathon and not a sprint. Everybody was criticizing the Buffalo Bills, us included, was criticizing the Buffalo Bills and what they was going to do, and to turn it around, starting in Kansas City, a playoff team, then turn it around, going against the Chargers and beating the Jets and beating the teams we beat late in the season. At times we needed it most. It's refreshing for the Buffalo Bills to end up as AFC East champs right now. And it was a microcosm of the season, the game that we went through and had to endure today, the ups, the downs, the trials and tribulations, the questions and decision-making, all to ultimately end up as AFC East champions for our Buffalo Bills. And it's an amazing feeling, man. An amazing feeling.
That's champ shit right there. Champ shit only. The Bills came through, got up off the canvas, and started swinging. And that's what it is right there. And the Bills, I've been saying it. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I've been saying it. This is what the Bills do. They have a little lull in the middle of the season, and then they win out. 2020. I'm going back to it again. I'm going to say it again. 2020 won the last 6 games of this season. 2021 won the last 4 games of this season. 2022 won the last 7 games of this season. And this year won the last 5 to take the division title from somebody else who was ahead of us at the time. The Buffalo Bills dominate late season football. That's what they do. They may not dominate the game itself, but when it comes to late season football, the Buffalo Bills light up opponents. They go out there, they win the game. Don't care. I really don't care if it's a 17-14 game. I don't care if it was 15-14 out there today. I don't care if it's, we scored a touchdown last second and then Josh Allen runs it in or throws it in for a 2-point conversion to win the game. I don't give a damn. Win the game. And that's what they've been doing, winning the game. They ain't all pretty. They ain't all, sunshine and rainbows. The question isn't what you do when you get knocked down, quoting Rocky Balboa. It's when you get back up. Mm-hmm. It's not how hard you get hit. It's how hard you can get hit and get back up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly 100%. And again, it didn't start off pretty, right? We're talking about the first 5 offensive possessions for the Buffalo Bills was results of 7 points. And it was all on the other side of the 50-yard line. I said we should have had at least 24 points in the first half, and we had 7 points. Then we had 3 turnovers on top of that. So we've definitely had our miscues, right? Josh Allen throws the interception earlier in the game. We're like, Josh, you cannot make that type of throw in this type of moment as if you're a rookie or a young player. You are now considered a seasoned vet, and you're not supposed to be making these type of throws. Then we come back, and Stephon Diggs just put a nasty route on Jalen Ramsey, had him beat for a touchdown, and Josh Allen missed him. It was like, once again, we're close, but we got to hit that. I just seen C.J. Stroud hit that same throw or a similar throw last night to Nico Collins.
Falling backwards.
And falling backwards. So Josh Allen, in my opinion, had to make that throw. But again, Cook came back. We had another situation, drops the pass in the end zone. It was like the Buffalo Bills was beating themselves, and it seemed as if they've been beating themselves all season long when they do lose ball games. But then the guy we criticized all season long, I know I did, and I know you criticized this man, Deontay Hardy. What was his purpose? We questioned his purpose all season long, and today he showed his purpose. He showed his purpose, 96-yard touchdown punt return for a touchdown, and rejuvenated the Buffalo Bills franchise, the Buffalo Bills team, and that ended up great things for Buffalo and scoring a touchdown after that later on. And I think that really rejuvenized the Buffalo Bills fan base, the crowd, the team, and we was able to feed off that energy from the touchdown and execute more plays down the stretch and ultimately win this game.
Absolutely correct. And I have criticized Deontay Hardy, and I've been saying I want him off the team. And I'm not necessarily backpedaling on that point just yet. We save a bunch of money not retaining him. But if he's willing to take a pay cut next year, extend a year, maybe 2 years on top of that, lower that cap hit and be a team player, I'm all for it. He hasn't shown me enough on the offensive side of the ball to warrant that big of a cap hit. But if he's just the special teamer and the occasional guy on offense to go out there and make the occasional play or allow somebody a rest, for 1 or 2 plays here and there, I'm all for it. But as a person who was signed in the offseason that was supposed to be a main part of this offense, and maybe he's coming off injuries, I think he was, and maybe this year just wasn't him. Looks like him now. This looks like old Deontay Hardy now in this game. It's late.
And
it's real late. But
yeah. He showed that juice. He showed that burst. And, we've been talking about Josh Allen being a superhero and who else is going to make plays besides Josh Allen within the Buffalo Bills offense. And today there was a number of guys that made plays, in my opinion, even though we did leave plays out there on the field. We talk about Deontay Hardy, 96-yard punt return for a touchdown. Trent Sherfield was making plays all game long. Touchdown was clutch. What hand-eye coordination and concentration on that play. That is not an easy play to make. And Trent Sherfield, being a depth player, a role player in limited snaps, to be thrust into action and make a play like that was huge for the Buffalo Bills. Guys like Dawson Knox came in and made a play and scored a touchdown, and I think he was huge when he was in the ball game. Gabe Davis being hurt is not something that we want to see, but it gave other guys opportunity to make plays as receivers. And Khalil Shakir is another guy that was making plays all game long. 6 receptions, 105 yards, 17.5 yards per catch. Khalil Shakir, when called upon, has been reliable all season long. I remember back in training camp when this young kid was inconsistent. He had inconsistencies and ups and downs all training camp where we've wondered, where is this kid going to make the team? And ever since the season has started, every time he's been called upon, he's been making a play. And Khalil Shakir, in my opinion, he has a future in the slot role for the Buffalo Bills going forward, man. Just another remarkable game from him. Stephon Diggs coming in, 7 receptions, 87 yards, getting that big play after getting missed for that touchdown, making that incredible catch. This is what we want to see. It's starting to pick up a little bit. We want to compound off this, the duo between Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. 87 yards, good showing. He could have easily had over 100 yards, but this could be the start of something special with the playoff run with the Buffalo Bills, the communication and the camaraderie between Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. It was good to see a little bit of that today. And Jolton Kincaid, 7 receptions, 84 yards, showing his hands and showing why we drafted him. And I think he broke a record tonight, if I'm not mistaken. Most catches. Is it the most catches in Buffalo Bills team history?
Yeah, or tight end history.
Yeah. Tight end history. Yeah, so another solid game, another solid performance from him as well, and anything you want to say about that before we can talk about Josh Allen a little bit.
Yeah, I believe it was my brother in the comments here. Love you, bro. If that's you, usually his last name is always on Facebook, but love you, bro. Yeah, when Gabe Davis went down, this offense didn't miss a beat. Mm-hmm. To me, it got better. And to me, that's saying he and Josh are not on the same page most of the time. He's running these option routes. Maybe he's going for too much, or maybe he's going the wrong way. He's very inconsistent with his hands, drops a lot of passes, doesn't really stick to the script, it appears to me. When he was out of the game, Khalil Shakir is a yak machine. He is a yards after catch machine. That bubble screen where he took it 40 yards up the field.
Mm-hmm. Hey, deceptive speed there. Deceptive speed.
And people were last year after the draft like, oh, man, I was so mad. I thought I had a 3rd-round grade on him. Well, why didn't you take him in the 3rd round then? Mm-hmm. If you wanted him. Like, we had I think a 4th-round grade on him. Took him in the 5th round. Traded up to go get him because he was still there. Mm-hmm. If you wanted him, should have went and got him. Mm-hmm. And now Khalil Shakir is showing progress. He's doing this thing right here where you go up. The trajectory. Right? Going up. Mm-hmm. And there's no telling how high he can go. I'm not saying he's going to be a number 1 receiver ever because I don't know. But he's panning out to be an excellent slot receiver, especially with those yak skills.
Yeah, most definitely. Khalil Shakir. I want to look at, I'm trying to take a look at his final season stats. I think he ended up with at least 700 yards receiving on this season. He had 506 coming into the game, so he had about 600 yards, a little over 600 yards, and probably about 40 receptions to end the season. I really like what I've seen from Khalil Shakir, and we should continue to use him going forward in the playoffs against, the Pittsburgh Steelers. We play next Sunday, 1 p.m. He should be a focal point within the offense then. But I like what I've seen from the weapons that we have from the Buffalo Bills. Gabe Davis went down, like you said, and I wasn't a fan of his game when he was playing. I mean, this particular game, that the chemistry always looks off between Josh Allen and Gabe Davis. Ever since I say the first 2 years, we've seen toe tap swag we've been seeing first 2 years. It's like it's disappeared. It's like that. You would have forgotten that Gabe Davis was the guy that was doing all the toe tap swags back in the day, his rookie year and his second year in the league. And I don't think that they are the best chemistry fit. So with him being out, I think it opened up a lot of things. We spoke about Trent Sherfield all season long, and it was he a sign, and he showed his worth today. I believe excellent hand-eye coordination once again, concentration once again, and he was able to step into the role and make plays for Josh Allen and for that offense, and be sure-handed as a pass catcher. So it was just good to see other guys stepping up, and when guys went down, because we had some injuries. We had Deion Dawkins has a laceration in his hand where it looked like he got stitches. He came back into the game. Ty Johnson went down. Gabe Davis went down. The bigger injury is probably Rasul Butler. That's the biggest injury. I mean Rasul Butler, Rasul Douglas. That's probably the biggest injury for the Buffalo Bills that I want to see what happens and what's the actual injury. Hopefully is no ACL, and I'm hoping maybe mild knee sprain of some sort where he can come back. If not this game, if we can continue our playoff push, hopefully we could see him sooner rather than later.
I'm noticing a lot of these MCL sprains late in the season this year. Freaking dude for the Steelers, TJ Watt. Seeing a lot more of these like minor knee injuries later on. I've noticed a lot more of the ACLs happen earlier. Bradley Chubb, unfortunately for him, he's the Dolphins, so he's the enemy. But I don't wish any injuries upon anybody. His was really late in the season, and that's probably going to derail him all throughout all of next year as well. So I hope a nice speedy recovery to him and good health to him. But if it's an ACL for Rasul Douglas, that's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one.
No, I'm hoping not. But good news, I see that he was still on the sidelines. He did still have his uniform on. So hopefully that's a good sign in terms of, him being more day to day or week to week, or or if it's anything longer. Excuse me.
Yeah. But, I want to address real quick. Still lack the killer instinct on O. Should have never given the ball back. We didn't give him the ball back. We tried to keep the ball.
Yeah.
we went for it on fourth down. We didn't punt the ball. We didn't miss a field goal. Like we went for the play. Sean McDermott, whipped them out and said, "Here they are," and they got stepped on. It is what it is.
And I'm speaking of that, right? It was an obvious play. Everybody in the building and probably watching knew that it was going quarterback sneak, Josh Allen 4th and 1, and I'm not even mad at it. Sometimes sometimes you got to know what's coming, and it's like, look, buckle up. Can you stop it? And a number of times during the course of the game, the Miami Dolphins didn't stop it. And that particular play, they were successful and they stopped it. But I'm not mad at that at all. I want to talk about Joe Brady and what he's done this game. What did you think about the play calls? What do you think about how the Buffalo Bills moved the ball and how they advanced the offense in this particular game? How do you feel about Joe Brady and his performance as an offensive play caller?
So for the most part, I liked his play calling. One big thing that I did not like was the continued outside sweeps and outside tosses. They weren't working. And to me, that's just, I understand you want to keep the defense honest by continuing to run the ball. Do something else. Like, there's all kind of run plays. You got slash plays. You got, you got a power plays. The toss to the left. Yeah, counters. You've got, power run up the middle. You got all kind of different run plays, and he just kept throwing that freaking toss sweep. That irritated me to high hell. But I do understand why he kept running the ball. I just don't appreciate how he kept doing it.
Okay, I'm not mad at Joe Brady today. I think Joe Brady. I think Joe Brady. I think Joe Brady did a decent job play calling. I think he did a above average play calling today. Actually, that was a good play call and play design with James Cook, and of course, Josh Allen. He made some space with his legs, and James Cook, he didn't catch the ball. I like the play call on first down. We talked about all week long about getting Stephon Diggs the ball, and he spoke about it, Joe Brady himself. So he made the call and made the necessary play. Now it's up to the players to make the play. So I like what Joe Brady has done throughout the course of the game. Of course, are there some calls you could have had back? Yes, there's definitely some calls every offensive coordinator could have back, right? But for the most part, I think Joe Brady did a good job. You want to keep that identity on offense in terms of running the ball. You want to be able to mix it up. You want to be able to have answers for the blitz. And I think that Joe Brady did have answers for the blitz, but it was the lack of execution from Josh Allen early on, and not checking to your hot route and doing the necessary things he needed to do as a quarterback, as opposed to Joe Brady not calling the correct call. So I like the offensive performance in terms of play calling that I seen from Joe Brady today.
I agree. Just that one thing that he did that irritated me about the game. But my man, they were too cautious before the sneak. I can agree with that. Like, trying to draw them off sides and then trying it again. I think you just get up to the line and run it. You don't give them time to set up. You just get up there and do what you got to do. I'm not really mad at it, But I get your point. But still, like, they went for it. They did what they thought they needed to do. And I'm not going to complain. A win is a win. Are they saving Lenny? Lenny played today.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Lenny played today. I do think and hope, first of all, that Ty Johnson is okay. I think he's the second best running back on the team behind James Cook.
Agreed.
Ty Johnston is the second best running back on the team. I know he went out with a concussion. I'm hoping that first of all, the most important thing, get healthy, and hopefully, if he can get healthy, him coming out to Highmark Stadium and being available for the Bills this Sunday.
Yeah, I really hope he is too. Of all the running backs that are on the roster right now that are not named James Cook, he's the one I'd bring back.
Most definitely. I would definitely have James Cook, Ty Johnson, and I'm probably going to bring in somebody next season to go along with them. I like Ty Johnson a lot. I would love him as my third running back. Let's get James Cook. Now let's go get somebody else. Maybe invest a 4th round pick or maybe a free agent. I know Derrick Henry's out there.
Ooh, you said it for me.
I know Derrick Henry's out there, so I definitely would like an upgrade this offseason over Ty Johnson, Latavius Murray, and Leonard Fournette. But I'll worry about that whenever the season is over.
It's really going to be up to, a free agent like King Henry, who's made his money, whether he wants to go to a winner or if he wants to go make some more money. Right. Somebody will probably pay him. He doesn't get hurt a lot. Like, he's durable. And being 278 pounds that he is, he's going to be durable. He's just a big, big freaking man. And I'm not trying to say too much about the guy. He's huge. And so you get him in here to be the power back while you have James Cook as your lightning. You got, thunder and lightning or shake and bake, whatever the hell you want to call them. That would be crazy astronomical.
I do think James Cook has to be more consistent. I know he's a Pro Bowler. I know he has over 1,100 yards rushing, over 1,500 yards from scrimmage. He's had some very good performances. I think overall he's had a good season. He has an above average season for the Buffalo Bills at running back, especially being a Pro Bowler at that position. But I do want to see him more consistent going forward. He has to play more consistent football. He had these games where he'll fumble the ball or he'll drop a pass. We've seen this before from James Cook, where he dropped a big pass where it could have went, and scored points. So I definitely want to see more consistency from our players that's going to be out there and taking significant snaps like James Cook.
Agreed, yeah. And, he's kind of got that Tyreek Hill syndrome where he drops balls in the end zone, which is a problem, or on the way into the end zone. So you can clean that up. That happens. Sometimes you have the dropsies. Dawson Knox had it early in his career. He's, for the most part, cleaned that up. Khalil Shakir last year, he had a little bit of a dropping issue. This year, I can't say that I can say Shakir's had a drop issue at all. He's looked wonderful.
At all. Yep.
I mean, he's making catches that are that bubble screen wasn't an easy catch to make. He had to shoelace that on a bubble screen, then get around Gabe, who threw a nice block. Good block, Gabe.
Yeah.
And then
that's what he does.
He got vertical fast. So
yeah, it was impressive to see. It was definitely impressive to see. Josh Allen, 30 of 38, 359 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 1 fumble, 15 attempts, 67 yards. The complete Josh Allen experience with your ups and downs and trials and tribulations, ultimately ending up victorious. Izzy.
The roller coaster always starts at the bottom and you work your way uphill and then you go for the ride. That's Josh Allen for you. The first quarter and a half, 2 quarters was just tick, 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 tick. And then it was just frustrating. It was very frustrating to sit there and be like, we drove all the way down there for nothing. And then we did it again for nothing. And then Christian Wilkins, with a beautiful play on that strip sack, he got in there, grabbed the ball, fell back. His big ass is not falling down without the ball in his hands. He's just too damn big. He falls down, he hits the dirt. Congratulations to you, Christian Wilkins. You made an excellent play. And Torrance missed his block on that one. But the roller coaster was in full effect today.
Yeah.
But the second half, Josh did what Josh does in the second half and went out there and put a stamp on it. Right after Hardy took that in, which was a beautiful play. We'll get into that. But Josh drove us down the field, and he gave us that touchdown to Dawson Knox. And the Dolphins were bowing up at the goal line. They weren't just letting us get through. They bowed up on us quite a bit at the goal line. They had really nice defense at the goal line.
Yeah, I think especially for the type of the type and amount of injuries they had, especially at the edge rushing position. So what they was able to do, it was they played a solid game in terms of bowing up, as you say, and stopping the Buffalo Bills and giving that explosive offense of the Miami Dolphins a chance to come back and tie or possibly win this ball game. But Sean McDermott was having none of it. This is a Miami Dolphins offense that everybody looked at as generational. It's the evolution of the NFL, the Miami Dolphins offense, and Tyreek going in motion, and he's doing all these wonderful things. And but McDaniel's this offensive guru. The Miami Dolphins offense ran 15 plays, ran 14 plays in the second half. The Miami Dolphins, 30 points in the NFL, first in the NFL in offense in terms of scoring, ran 14 second half plays. And this is a game where the defensive head coach is calling plays against the offensive head coach. And we always want to talk about who do we want as head coaches in terms of offensive philosophy or defensive philosophy, offensive-minded head coach versus defensive-minded head coach. And we all lean to the offensive-minded head coach when the defensive-minded head coach struggles. But Mike McDaniel is considered and looked at as one of the best and brightest offensive minds in the NFL. And Sean McDermott came in and completely shut him down. So it was a very, very impressive performance from the defensive-minded head coach. And I think it's a very impressive weekend from the defensive-minded head coaches. Mike Tomlin, he's not an offensive-minded head coach. He's more along on the defensive mind as well. He was able to get in the playoffs. DeMeco Ryans, he's not an offensive-minded head coach. He's a defensive-minded head coach as well. And he's in the playoffs, being an offensive-minded head coach in the Indianapolis Colts.
Preach.
So it's not just about being an offensive-minded head coach or being a defensive-minded head coach. Are you the man for the job? Are you a leader of men? Can you galvanize your troops when time is hardest and come on top? And these 3 teams, the Buffalo Bills, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Houston Texans, all faced adversity, all going against offensive-minded head coaches, and all is victorious and going to the playoffs. So I salute Sean McDermott in terms of the type of job he was able to do this game in and the last 6 weeks going through the scrutiny he's been going through as a head coach. Impressive performance from Sean McDermott. I give the man his flowers.
And when you think about what you just mentioned, all those defensive-minded head coaches, who kept the Jaguars out of the playoffs? They got an offensive.
Hey, minded head coach. Hey, Mike, another defensive guy.
Mike Vrabel kept the Jaguars.
Touche.
If you look at a lot of these teams that got eliminated, some of them got eliminated and had a chance to get in, like the Seahawks with their defensive-minded head coach Pete Carroll. They went out there and beat the Bears.
Yeah,
a lot of these defensive-minded head coaches are still viable in the NFL. Whoever wins the Super Bowl is a toss-up, right? The Super Bowl is a different thing. It's a whole different animal. Getting there is one thing, winning is another. And I trust my defensive-minded head coach to shut down most offenses in the NFL, period.
Yeah, I know he's not going to win Coach of the Year, but the last 6 weeks of the season, I think he's been the best coach in the NFL the last 6 weeks of the season, Sean McDermott. DeMeco Ryans or Steve Stefanski may win Coach of the Year, but excellent job down the stretch by McDermott.
Yeah, I think it's DeMeco Ryans all day. Who do I give the game ball to? I'm giving it to Deontay Hardy.
Yes, I like it.
Deontay Hardy. It looked like the energy of the Buffalo Bills was slowly being sapped throughout that whole game. Like the Dolphins were just slowly weighing on us, and then he broke that thing wide open, and the offense comes out and decides that they're going to dump on everybody, and the defense seems re-energized even after the injuries to Tyrell Dodson and Rasul Douglas. That right there was the catalyst that caused the Buffalo Bills to really dig in and push forward. Right, the tug-of-war match looked like it was starting to be lost by these Buffalo Bills. He ties the game, and then the Buffalo Bills push forward. So my man Izzy, right back at you, Ismail. The Buffalo Bills needed something to happen. Right, great teams lose. It happens. Great teams sometimes get their butts whooped. It happens. Look at the Niners. They got destroyed by Baltimore. The Niners got destroyed by Baltimore. Sometimes a great team gets their ass handed to them. It is what it is. Niners destroyed by Baltimore. The Broncos aren't a great team, but they got slaughtered 70-20. They weren't 70-20 bad this year. They weren't good, but they weren't 70-20 bad. The Bills then went out, and the team that put up 70 smashed them 48-20. Sometimes a really good team will go out there and get their butts whipped just because they did. And Deontay Hardy is the spark that made this team tug a little harder in that tug-of-war match that we were looking like we were slowly but surely going to lose.
Yeah, I have to agree. 100%. Deontay Hardy is definitely the guy I would give the game ball to. He rejuvenated the Buffalo Bills team. He rejuvenated Josh Allen. He gave that extra kick for the Buffalo Bills offense to manufacture that drive after the punt return for the touchdown and score another touchdown. So it all started with Deontay Hardy. He was the guy that got in the car and turned on the engine and drove the vehicle, and he steered the ship, and he steered the Buffalo Bills momentum where it needed to be for the Buffalo Bills to get this victory. So I definitely have to agree with Deontay Hardy getting that game ball and answering a lot of questions. And in terms of why he was signed for this very moment right here.
Yes, sir. And this moment's worth it. It's worth
Yes.
it. They could cut him after this year and pay him whatever they paid him this year, and it'd be totally worth it because that won us the division, got us a 2 seed. Now, there are some other players who deserve some flowers, so to speak, right? When Tyrell Dodson went down, Balin Spector played very, very well on his defense. Didn't see much of a drop-off. Balin Spector went in there and was hitting everything that freaking moved.
Yes.
If it was a Dolphins color and it moved, well, I don't think the ball or not, but he's getting blasted. Wham! Yes. He went out there with reckless abandon, and him and Dodson are about the same size, 6 foot, 235 for Spectrum, or Spector. Spectrum, I'm thinking the internet. And then 6 foot even also for Tyrell Dodson, but 240. So they're 5 pounds apart, same height. And both of them are very athletic players coming from their schools. Balen Spector had a relative athletic score over a 9.
Yeah.
He's an athlete. He's one hell of an athlete, and he played 50 games at Clemson. He's a 7th round pick. I get it. You know, Tyrell Dotson's undrafted, and he's the 3rd ranked PFF linebacker in the NFL this year. So I don't care where you were drafted, where you came from. If you can go out there and make plays, make them. But I was impressed by him, and Dane Jackson had a little hiccup here, you know, when Cedric Wilson got that reception. After that, Dane was doing his thing. But also, Christian Benford today, that reception to start the game off. That was the thing of beauty. Like, he went up there. I thought he got face mask, but then when I saw the replay, he didn't. But man, Christian Benford's playing like a true steal in the draft.
Yes.
I'm just so impressed with the guys filling in for starters that are really not missing a beat. Taylor Rapp with that interception to close the game. Like, come on. This defense is playing for Sean McDermott, and we have downplayed his worth as a coach who coaches defense the whole season.
Yep, I 100% agree. And another thing, or not even another thing, another person, we're talking about these players. Another person I want to congratulate is Brandon Beane, man. Brandon Beane. Listen, every GM is not perfect. Could the Buffalo Bills could have did other things better in terms of drafting players? Absolutely. But I'm pretty sure all 32 GMs can say the same thing. But we're talking about guys like Taylor Rapp, who made the interception to end the game. Dane Jackson came up huge. After that one play, he was humongous for the Buffalo Bills. You couldn't tell if, was it Dane Jackson or Rasul Douglas out there. It was very good cornerback play from the 7th round pick that Brandon Beane drafted. We spoke about Balen Spector. Another 7th round guy was making plays. Terrell Bernard is a first-year linebacker who's come in and exhaled and held down the fort as the play caller and the chief on defense. Trent Sherfield, a guy that's making plays now in big and crucial moments. Who was the guy that came and played when Deion Dawkins got hurt? Ryan Vandermark. Vandermark has came in and at right tackle for the first time.
Left tackle.
At the more important position, left tackle for the first time all season, and held it down. And for the snaps that he was able to play in, Brandon Beane, I have to give him a ton of credit. Leonard Floyd, double-digit sacks this season. I have to give Brandon Beane a ton of credit, man. Hey, there you go. Got to give Brandon Beane his flowers for what type of team and the type of depth the Buffalo Bills have. And to go up against a team like this, the Miami Dolphins, on their home field with the division on the line, and to come in and depend on depth players to help get it done. Exceptional job by Brandon Beane, and I think he should be up for executive of the year.
Allow me to correct you. That was our home field today.
Yes.
That was our home field today.
Yes.
That boys couldn't even fill up their stadium for a division championship match. Dolphins fans abandoned the Dolphins. You know who didn't? You know who got up on airplanes and flew to South Florida to watch on a Saturday night, maybe having to work tomorrow? No, they called out. We ain't dumb. They ain't dumb.
Yeah, they called out. They in Miami. They going to party right now. I wish I was there. They going to party
Monday and Tuesday. Hey, boss, what? I'm getting drunk Sunday night. I'm going to be in Miami. I got tickets to the game. Oh, okay. Yes. Never mind. Yeah. The whole city of Buffalo is embracing this, and we all freaking know it. The takeover was real. The players felt it. They took a little while to get there, but they got there.
Yeah, and especially a season like this where it was just a lot, man. It wasn't Damar Hamlin kind of season where we had to go through that, but same core. This core for the Buffalo Bills over the course of the last 7 years been through so much. With the trials and tribulations of this season and questions on Sean McDermott's character with the article and Damar Hamlin last season and going and enduring that and going through stuff like that and the Kansas City Chiefs in 13 seconds and all the different things that this Buffalo Bills core, the Hail Murray, the Justin Jefferson fourth and 18. It was just so much. And to come to this moment and have a chance and to do this all over again in terms of attempting to hoist the Lombardi trophy. This is why we're here. This is why we're here. You know, the turnovers aside, there's a bunch of turnovers we would love to have back, but having the 2 seed and being 11-6 to end the season, this is exactly where we want to be. This is exactly where we need to be. And it can go through Buffalo. We can have multiple home games depending on what happens, you know, in this playoff. So we have to seize the moment and hopefully, you know, some injuries are not too significant and we can have all our guys back sooner rather than later.
And shout out to the international crowd. I know Toronto's not that far from Buffalo, but still, this is the second show in a row where I've got some international love, feeling like Mr. Worldwide in this thing. So let's do this thing.
Facts.
But, yeah, shout out to the Toronto fans, the Miami fans who are Bills backers, everybody in Buffalo, Rochester, you know, all over the country. If you're a Bills fan and you watch this show, we appreciate you. All over the world. We've had some people from Turkey in our comments, people from Japan in our comments. So shout out to everybody. You know, go Bills, you know, uniting the freaking world on this channel. But
so let's talk about, you know, and of course we're going to deep dive into it as the week goes. Let's talk about the Buffalo Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers a little bit. Ooh. Now it's you know, more storylines to start the playoffs. You got Sean McDermott, you got Mike Tomlin, you got the William and Mary connection there. I think Joe Brady, even though he's a little bit younger, is a part of that William and Mary connection as well. What's your thoughts headed into that game?
How does such a little known school like William and Mary produce such good coaches? Like, where the hell does that come from? It's like, hey, where'd you go to school? North Carolina A&T. Where?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Where'd you go to school? Pick a spot. I don't know. Freaking
anywhere.
Pfeiffer University. And like Pfeiffer. Anywhere. Where the hell is that? That's in Tennessee. Okay. I think it's in Tennessee. But
I think so.
It's either in Tennessee or it's in North Carolina. It's by the Smoky Mountains. But my kid got a scholarship offer over there. Neither here nor there. Mm. But I'm telling, like, these coaches coming from William and Mary, like, you're hearing about it so much more. Players coming from there too. I don't remember if London Fletcher went to William and Mary or if he went to another small school. It was a small school like that.
Okay.
Like a Christian school with a name similar to William and Mary. If it wasn't William and Mary, but you're seeing more people coming from these smaller schools because they're getting much more opportunity. And I think that the connection like that, where they actually played together at William and Mary and have a real, you know, friendship that they built up over years and respect for one another. Another thing that means is that they know each other. They both know each other's defenses. They're both going to be able to plot things out. Both of them have grown much since being there, but they both have a gist of the basics of what each other does. And so the injury to TJ Watt is going to be huge. That should free up the right side. Spencer Brown shouldn't struggle as much as he normally would. If TJ Watt plays with a grade 2 MCL sprain, I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to play through it, but I don't think that's smart because if you get hurt this game, you're missing all of next year. Right? Like if you tear your ACL after this, next year you're not playing at all. And so I don't know what it is, but wow. Go Buffalo from Fox Sports Australia. There we go. Got the Aussies in the house. Aussie.
Dope, man. Dope. I mean, what I see from Pittsburgh is a team not to take lightly. This is a team that, you know, they had to persevere as well. They had to overcome things as well. They, you know, similar to the Buffalo Bills, and Mike Tomlin always finds a way. He's been with the Pittsburgh Steelers almost 2 decades and hasn't had a losing season. He always finds a way. It doesn't matter who he has as quarterback, and he's been having these up and downs in terms of who's going to be the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Mason Rudolph has hit his stride along with the combination of Matt Canada getting fired, their offensive coordinator, similar to like Ken Dorsey getting fired. Ever since Matt Canada got fired, the Pittsburgh Steelers have been producing 400-yard offensive games. And I don't think they're a slouch or someone that you can obviously overlook, being that they're a playoff team. Mason Rudolph is playing excellent football at the quarterback position. He was uh, 18 for 20, 152 yards yesterday against the Baltimore Ravens. The week before that, against the Seattle Seahawks, he was 18 for 24, 274 yards in a 30-23 victory. The week before that, against the Cincinnati Bengals, they won 34-11. Mason Rudolph was 17 to 27, 290 yards, 2 touchdowns. So they definitely found some type of connection between offensive coordinator and Mason Rudolph, who's looked like he hit his stride as a backup quarterback, seeing the field and maybe the game slowing down for him and having good chemistry within that offense. And Najee Harris is playing good football. George Pickens is a physical style corner that I think our secondary has to be prepared for. They have to be prepared for George Pickens' physicality for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And it's definitely going to be a very good physical, hard-fought game, and I can't wait to see it. And we're definitely going to deep dive into that matchup as the week goes along.
I'll be honest with you, and this is going to be something that most Bills fans don't. It was a not so hot take when it happened. The year the Bills drafted Josh Allen and traded all that capital to go get him, and then traded to go get Tremaine Edmonds. I wanted the Bills to use those draft picks to pick up 2 offensive linemen, Billy Price and Hernandez, out of that draft. Neither one of them turned out to be very good. I wanted the Bills to then go get Washington from Oklahoma State, and then I wanted us the next draft pick to go get Mason Rudolph from Washington State. So that way we picked up 2 premier offensive linemen in that draft. Then you pick up a wide receiver and a quarterback who played in college previously, so that way you could then have an offense that already had chemistry here over the taking of Josh Allen. Now, when we traded up, I knew we were getting a quarterback, and I knew it was not going to be Mason Rudolph. But before that point, my plan when we had the 21st and 22nd pick was to go get 2 offensive linemen, wide receiver, and a quarterback who already had chemistry to build this team. Washington, I have no idea where he's at. Billy Price and Hernandez, I forget his first name.
Will
Hernandez, yep. No idea where they're at. And Mason Rudolph is now coming on. So, yeah, that was what I looked at it. And it was because his last year at Oklahoma State, Mason Rudolph threw for 4,800 yards that year. He threw for 4,800 yards that year. Granted, it was an air raid scheme. They're in the Big 12. That's how they play football down there. They throw the ball. And unless you have like a Bijan Robinson, it is what it is. And then my man Thomas Cook in the comments saying, well, I'm glad that didn't happen. You know, you and me both, bro. Like, look, when I'm wrong, I'll admit it. I'm admitting it right now. I wanted Mason Rudolph in the 3rd round with Washington in the 2nd round and the 2 linemen in the 1st round. Thank God I am not a general manager. Thank God I'm not a general manager.
Right.
I don't have a scouting department. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Mason Rudolph is coming on at a decent time. He's been in that, building for a long time. He's built credibility within that building. He re-signed to be there because this would be his 5th year, and he was a 4th round pick, so he wouldn't have a 5th-year option. He had to decide to stay, even though he was going to be number 3 behind Pickett and our former backup quarterback, Trubisky. Yep. So Mason Rudolph just being patient, waiting, giving his head some time to recover from helmet gate, and just vying his time is looking like he might take that starting role from Kenny Pickett if he can keep doing what he's doing. They might make it a competition next year because Kenny Pickett, well, his name says it all.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, Mason Rudolph won the last 3 games to get them in the playoffs. I don't think right now is even a discussion as in terms of who should be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But that's not our problem. I'd love to see Kenny Pickett over Mason Rudolph the way Mason Rudolph is playing. I think that would be a bad move on their part. I don't think Mike Tomlin is that type of guy that would do that. He's been winning every year for the Pittsburgh Steelers organization for a reason. Najee Harris, 3 years. I don't think he's spectacular, but I think he can do some damage if you let him do damage. Another 1,000-yard season for the Pittsburgh Steelers, 3 in a row, third of his career. They have
Steady Eddie.
Steady Eddie, and I think they have an emergence of their backup, their complementary back in Jalen Warren. I think they developed more trust in him, and he's like the change of pace back within that Pittsburgh Steelers offense, and provides that burst and provides that explosiveness and provides a good hands out the backfield for a running back. So they have a complete offense in terms of skill players that know how to play the game of football. Deontay Johnson and George Pickens and Pat Fairmouth. They have players that are capable. So definitely something the Buffalo Bills have to be cognizant of. But at the same time, when you reach this playoffs, when you reach the second season, there's no easy games. There's no easy outs. We are in the best position possible we can be in, and that's home in Highmark Stadium in front of the Buffalo Bills fans. Winning the Super Bowl is not meant to be easy. It's meant to be hard, and the best of the best is going to come out on top. And hopefully this year is our Buffalo Bills.
Agreed. I think the Buffalo Bills are in prime position right now to host playoff games all the way through the AFC Championship game. I'll give my predictions here. Steve Curtis asks, what are your guys' honest thoughts on next week's game with regards to a Bills win or loss? I think the Bills win this game. I think we win the game. And I'll give you, before the end of the show, we'll give you guys our predictions for the entire playoffs, if you're okay with that, Akeem.
That's fine with me.
Okay, so yeah, my prediction is a victory. What do you think? You think we win this game?
Long week ahead, but right now I do believe I'm saying long week ahead and right now, but I'm going to believe the same thing next week before the game anyway, right? So I do believe the Buffalo Bills are going to win this game in front of the Buffalo faithful. We're playing good football right now. We won 5 in a row. We have the fans behind us. This is the matchup, that we want to have. There's no disrespect to the Pittsburgh Steelers whatsoever. They're a playoff team. They're here for a reason. But Miami Dolphins, we know what they're capable of. We know what the Kansas City Chiefs are capable of, being the Kansas City Chiefs. The Houston Texans, they have some firepower within themselves. So, for the first round matchup, we understand we're going to have to go through who we have to go through to hoist the Lombardi Trophy, but I'm not mad at all with this specific matchup in the first round against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I do think we're going to get it done.
I agree 100%, and when it comes down to it, every team is banged up in the NFL, but the way that Sean McDermott's been able to coach this team, even with players missing, doesn't seem that they skip a beat without him, and at some point in time, the team looks better when these players are out. Gabe Davis. But it's just the reality of it. Like, when somebody's not there anymore, McDermott is the absolute epitome of next man up. He's the epitome of next man up. We lose Tre'Davious White in 2021, and we go to overtime with the Chiefs, with freaking Levi Wallace and Dane Jackson starting at corner. And we shouldn't have had a shot in that game with the weapons that they had: Byron Pringle, Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman. Like, we should have had no shot with the speed they had in the field with two corners that run 4.6 plus 40s. Absolutely not. But we weathered that storm. We went to overtime. We probably should have won that game, but we didn't. It happens. But plug and play for Sean McDermott is like USB on a computer. He just, here's another thumb drive. We're back running. We're back and running again. So I'm very confident the Bills will win this game.
Yeah, I got the confidence too. I don't think we should be turning the ball over. We can't be putting ourselves in certain situations. When we get a chance and we get in advantageous situations and spots, we got to take advantage. We got to score touchdowns. We got to kick field goals and make field goals. At worst, at minimum, turning the ball over in the red zone, turning the ball over in opponent's territory is a recipe for disaster in the playoffs. It can't happen. That is something that the Buffalo Bills have to be talking about all week long, and have to make that aware and make that extra effort to hold on to the football, to think a bit more, to take every play for that particular reason. One play at a time, make the correct play, make the winning play, and live for another play. So, going forward, the Buffalo Bills, if we want to hoist that Lombardi Trophy, we're going to have to clean up the turnovers and definitely play more sound, fundamental football.
Yeah, the game planning on the offensive side of the ball is going to have to be immaculate this week. Even though they're missing T.J. Watt, they still have Cam Hayward. They still have Highsmith. They still have good linebackers. Their secondary to me is suspect. Minka Fitzpatrick's excellent, but Levi Wallace is starting on one side over there. And even though I just gave him props, he's not in McDermott's defense. However, Tomlin also runs an excellent defense. So the Bills are going to have to be on their P's and Q's and use their athleticism against this defense. They have to use their athleticism and take what they're given. I think Dalton Kincaid will be a key, and so will Shakir again.
And not only that, if you can remember way back in the regular season, the Pittsburgh Steelers did that first team offense. We played Pittsburgh in the preseason, and that first team offense came out and that first team defense came out and put a handle on the Buffalo Bills in the preseason. I don't know if you remember that. Pat Fairmouth catch over the middle for a touchdown. They was getting to Josh Allen.
I remember, but
that was, of course, that was the preseason. That preseason, of course.
I give no credit.
Nonetheless, preseason, but they have players that can disrupt the football game.
They do. So, my counter to that would be in the preseason game, even if it was, let's say, week 1. This offensive line was brand new to playing together at that point in time. They've played 17 straight games with no changes on the offensive line until today when Deion Dawkins cut his hand. Ryan Vandermark had to go in there and step in for him for a series or two, and then right back to that original starting 5. How lucky are we to not have a banged up offensive line? How crazy is that?
From that standpoint, that from the offensive line injury standpoint, we're very lucky. We're very lucky.
Nobody. Mitch Morse, no injuries, no concussions this year. Osiris Torrance, no issues in his rookie season. Spencer Brown with a breakout season at right tackle. Deion Dawkins having his best year of his career. And then, thank God, Roger Saffold's gone and we got Connor McGovern because, man, this is a godsend at left guard.
Right.
And so having all these guys healthy for a whole year going into the playoffs against a banged up, defensive line, I'm all for it. I think we win this game pretty handily, and I already have my predictions for the playoffs up to the Super Bowl.
Let's hear it. What you got?
All right, so I got Buffalo beating Pittsburgh. Kansas City beats Miami. Cleveland beats Houston.
You think? Okay. Cleveland beats Houston. I got Houston over Cleveland there. Let's keep the train rolling with C.J. Stroud.
I like C.J. Stroud. I think he's the offensive rookie of the year. But he's playing against Joe Flacco, who has playoff experience, and he has not been the best regular season quarterback ever in his career, but he turns it on in the playoffs. Like in the Super Bowl run, he went 11 touchdowns, no interceptions that year in the playoffs to win the Super Bowl. And so I got the Browns beating the Texans. I got the Texans. Or excuse me, the Browns then going to play Baltimore, and then the Bills playing the Chiefs. Yep, in Buffalo because we're the 2 seed. We beat the Chiefs. It's in our house now, and they look like crap. Like crap. They look like the Eagles. And then you have the Browns. I have them beating Baltimore.
That would be something.
Lamar Jackson's gonna be on the show for 3 weeks before he sees the field again.
Yeah. Against
a team who has played every week consistently, and that defensive line, well, you can run if you want to. Good luck. Good luck.
I like it, man.
The Bills host the Browns in the AFC Championship game.
Woo!
And from there, I have no clue because you're talking about 2 powerhouse defenses. You're talking about Joe Flacco, playoff Joe. You're talking about Josh Allen trying to get to his first Super Bowl. Like, that is the game.
That would be, yeah, that would be. I could actually see that. I'm glad this is recorded. We might have to screen record this and put this up. Let's see what happens. I like it.
What do you think?
So yeah, I do have Buffalo Bills over Pittsburgh. I have the Chiefs over the Dolphins. I kind of want to pick the Dolphins, but Yeah, but that that home, that not be playing at home, they're just a different team
It's
on
gonna be
the
like 4
road,
degrees in
and it's
KC.
gonna be crazy. It's gonna be cold in Kansas City. I'm just not sure if they could overcome that. So I got the Chiefs over the Dolphins, and then I have the Houston Texans over the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and keep that. If the Houston Texans play the Cleveland Browns, that means Houston would play Buffalo, right?
Baltimore. Baltimore.
Houston would play Baltimore.
Yeah. The winner, so the lowest seed goes to
Okay,
Baltimore.
but yeah, Houston would play Baltimore, and we
We
would
still play
put
KC.
and we would still play KC. I got us over Kansas City, and I got Baltimore over Houston,
And then we go to Baltimore.
and we go to Baltimore for the AFC title game.
And we whoop that ass.
So we'll see what happens.
Hey man, the playoffs this year are wild. They're wild. Green Bay getting in last minute like they did.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Love. How do the Packers keep doing this? How do they keep doing
I
it?
asked that earlier. I asked I asked that Jordan Love CJ Stroud comparison earlier. Everybody went CJ Stroud, but Jordan Love is no slouch. No slouch.
No, what I mean is Brett Favre. Then you draft Aaron Rodgers. He sits behind Favre for 3 years. All of a sudden, Favre's like, I'm gonna retire. And then they're like, all right, cool. Favre or Rodgers, you're up. And then Favre's like, I'm unretiring. They're like, well, we're rocking with Aaron Rodgers, so we'll trade you. And they trade him to the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers then takes off and wins a Super Bowl for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this kid's been sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years. This is year 4, 5th-year option in place. And he goes out there and throws 30-plus touchdowns with like 10 interceptions. That's a 3-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they got another quarterback playing at a level this young in his career at that point. That's crazy to me. How do the Packers keep doing? Why can't we ever do that? We went like 20 years. Flutie and Rob Johnson. Like, what the? Kelly Holcomb and J.P. Lossman and Trent Edwards and Thad Lewis and E.J. Manuel and Ryan Fitzpatrick, who everybody loves, but he wasn't that guy. But
right.
Everybody loves him because he was kind of almost that guy. And we went through all these quarterbacks to then now finally, but they keep doing it.
They keep doing it. They keep doing it, and that's the thing about the Green Bay Packers. They develop quarterbacks the right way. They give guys a chance, and I guess that they believe in a certain philosophy. They want to give their guys a chance to learn from their better quarterback at the moment, and their Hall of Fame type quarterback at the moment. And I give the Green Bay Packers props in terms of knowing when to draft these quarterbacks, understanding that, okay, we want to keep our Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre, but at the same time, we want to draft a quarterback early enough where he can get the proper nurturing as opposed to waiting to the last second to get a quarterback. Wait until the person, Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre, actually leave and want to address it when they leave. And now they're going through their trials and tribulations in terms of going through the rookie struggles of the quarterback. I think the Green Bay Packers are doing things the right way, and their philosophy is working. You draft a quarterback when your Hall of Fame quarterback is on the tail end of his career, but I have a couple more seasons left. And by the time he leaves, the other quarterback can come and take over right where that Hall of Fame quarterback left off. And it went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. Now, so far, Jordan Love looks like he's taking that same trajectory.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. That's nuts. That's nuts that you have a franchise that's doing that. Like, I understand sometimes you get a franchise that does it with wide receivers like the Cowboys. They always got a receiver that's just, Michael Irvin to Joey Galloway, and they just produce receivers, and the Packers do that too. But mostly because of their quarterbacks. It's like, man, how do these guys keep doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And not to jump off of Bills talk, but that was just something that
that's fine. That's fine because I got a couple questions I want to ask you.
All right, cool.
And comment sections as well. Who are you taking? Jordan Love or Justin Fields?
Jordan Love.
You taking Jordan Love over Justin Fields?
Better passer.
Jordan Love or Trevor Lawrence?
Ooh.
Mm.
Well, if you're looking at touchdown to interception ratio, I say Jordan Love. If you're looking at generational talent, I take Trevor Lawrence. But Jordan Love, he has no injury baggage at this point. He's playing on a team that doesn't have the same quality of weapons as the Jaguars, and he's taking his team to playoffs. So I'm taking Jordan Love.
Caleb Williams or Justin Fields? Caleb Williams, USC quarterback, potential number 1 overall pick.
I know who he is. I like his talent, but I don't like his attitude. But talent-wise, I'll take Caleb Williams.
Nice. Interested to see.
His dad reminds me too much of LeVar Ball, though.
You know, really?
Like he's got that whole we want stock in the team, and like it was like, shut the hell up. You don't have that kind of power. Like players, there's a draft pay structure at this point because teams were doing stupid shit, right? They were paying quarterbacks $80 million coming out of college, right? No. And Don Kong Su was a second overall pick. He made like $73 million in that first contract. You have no idea how good he's going to be or how bad he's going to be.
Correct. No. Correct. That's why they had to change up that system. But now you have things like the NIL, and when you're making millions of dollars, and with NIL, I think the thought process becomes different with these collegiate athletes in terms of the money, because they have the money already. They're going into this rich already. So the whole philosophy and the thought process is different than the generations we grew and accustomed to watching coming up. So those are also things that we have to take into consideration as well.
Yeah, because you're seeing players in college staying in college for 6-7 years now. Right? They're able to hit the transfer portal or extend their eligibility. And a lot of that is because of COVID at this point still. So I don't know if they're going to reinstill that whole, you get 5 years in college and that's it. You get 1 redshirt year and you get 4 regular years. And that's just how it is. I hope that goes back to that, because it's going to start to water down the draft. It's going to start to water it down. Mm-hmm. And so you're going to be able to get it out the mud a lot easier, which to me isn't a problem. Like Tom Brady had to, be a 6th round pick and then go to the right team, and then the right guy had to get hurt, and then he got his opportunity. And that happens. That story is played out in the NFL a bunch of times, but you're going to see a lot more guys like that get their opportunity instead of, the system that we've had. Maybe that's going to be improvement. I don't know. Now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm saying it out loud, and now it's in my head. It's like, that might be a good thing. Like, look at Brock Purdy. Mr. Irrelevant, and Mr. Irrelevant is really turning it up.
Yeah, Brock Purdy's, I didn't even include him, but he's done an amazing job as a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, number 1 seed themselves. I think he's often overlooked, and he's looked at as a guy that is good, but Kyle Shanahan is running that job. Kyle Shanahan is the helm and the orchestrator, because he's the offensive guru, play caller, and genius behind the Brock Purdy situation. But I think that's unfair to Brock Purdy, because you don't think that's unfair?
No.
I definitely think that's unfair, because the other quarterbacks that Kyle Shanahan had wasn't doing what Brock Purdy has done. I think Brock Purdy is playing excellent football, better football than the guy that they traded to the Dallas Cowboys, better football than Sam Darnold, better football than Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo was limited in his own right under the Kyle Shanahan offense. And it looks as if under Brock Purdy, it may not be the athleticism or 4.4 speed or any type of athletic intangible that stands out, but Brock Purdy is indeed running the offense to the most efficient level I've seen under Kyle Shanahan.
And I'll tell you why I feel the way I feel about it. In my opinion, Brock Purdy is a right-handed Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa has all the weapons. He's got all the weapons. He's got a good tight end. He's got 3 good wide receivers. He's got 2 good running backs, 3 good running backs. Jeff Wilson Jr. is no slouch at running back. He's got Tyreek Hill. He's got Jalen Waddle. He's got Cedric Wilson Jr. He's got Jeff Wilson Jr. He's got Achane. He's got all the weapons.
I agree.
And he's at the level he's at. 30 touchdowns, the 30. He had 29 before today. I think it's 30 now. 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Like, it's a good season. It's a damn good season. But he's in the same exact system as Brock Purdy. who literally just put up the exact same season under Kyle Shanahan. It's the same system. And what does he have? Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, number 15, I forget his name.
George Kittle.
Those teams are built around weapons and a solid O-line. They have injuries, so I understand, but they're playing the exact same type of football. They're spot throwing quarterbacks who have timing within their scheme, and if the timing is off, they look like crap. Look at what the Baltimore Ravens did to both of them back to back. The Ravens back to back, like, well, we just played this shit. Like, we gonna do this again? And they did it again. Like, all right, hey, instead of playing on the left, you're on the right now. That's all they did. This thing.
I like it.
They're
Excellent.
the same guy. This is just one Samoan and the other one's he's just a white guy.
Yeah.
Standard quarterback. He, and maybe he turned into Drew Brees. I don't know, but I wouldn't put him above Tua right now. He's a second-year player, and Tua is going to be a fifth-year player next year. But still, if I'm measuring them, how they played and the system they played in, and the weapons around them, him and Tua are the same freaking guy.
Hey, man, I'm not mad at his stance. I think actually that was an excellent breakdown, excellent analysis right there.
I appreciate it. I try my best. Like, I don't just study the Bills. I study the whole NFL because we got to see these boys.
We got to see these boys. You got to see everybody. You got to see everybody.
We just saw Tua, and if we go to the Super Bowl, we might have to see Brock.
Yeah, agreed 110%. The Buffalo Bills victorious in Hard Rock Stadium against the Miami Dolphins by the score of 21-14. Sean McDermott, defensive masterclass, late interception from Taylor Rapp, sealing the football game. 4-time AFC East champions, Buffalo Bills. Izzy, anything else you got?
I just want to answer this one question here. What are your guys' thoughts on Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs' play this season? I think they've been off, but I think that there's been some undisclosed stuff going on that doesn't have to do with them having a bad relationship. I think that Josh is clearly compromised in some way, shape, or form. Last week, he had that stinger. I think his right shoulder has been having a little bit of an issue. I'm not positive, but I watched him after being tackled, kind of holding that arm funny last week. Like he wasn't holding like a normal person walking. His arm was like holding it up like at a 90-degree angle. And to me, that says you're having either an elbow or a shoulder. And so maybe it's something that's minor and he's just playing through, like when he partially tore his UCL and still played through it. I don't know if that's what this is, but I think that he's going through something and they're just not disclosing it because it's not something serious enough for them to need to disclose. And they don't want other players targeting it because people will target them. I don't want my quarterback having a target on his right arm.
Usually at the end of the season, we find out about, injuries and people having surgery and things of that sort. So we'll see what happens at the end of the season once, we finish winning the Super Bowl.
Salute. But that's I just want to answer that one question because Steve Curtis has been very, very good in the comments today. And I know he's I think he's the Aussie guy. So, I want to show our international audience a little bit of love,
Got to, definitely, man. Definitely appreciate love from anywhere, inside or out the country. So definitely appreciate it.
It's also very early in Australia compared to here.
Right.
It's like they're like 24 hours on the other side of the clock from us. So like it's like 1 p.m. over there. It's probably like 11 a.m. But whatever.
Steve is from Toronto, man. Hey, man, no problem, man. No problem.
No, he's a Toronto guy. Okay, so he's doing the same time zone.
Yeah, same time zone.
He's just up with us. So we appreciate you being up with us, Steve.
Yeah, man. And celebrate this one. Let's celebrate this one for the rest of the night and get ready for, Pittsburgh Steelers. It's time. The second season is here for the Buffalo Bills. We have everything in front of us. This is what we've been following this team so long for throughout the course of the offseason and the draft and OTAs and the beginning of the season and going through the trials and tribulations, the roller coaster ride. It all starts now, the second season where there's 14 teams remaining and wanting to have to hoist that Lombardi trophy. So the Buffalo Bills are in the dance once again, and I'm excited to be along for the ride, and hopefully we can have some excellent results this time around.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. I'm just ready for these playoffs to start. And you know what? I'm just once the show's over, I'm getting on Facebook and talking crap to Dolphins fans. This is what's going to be.
Yeah,
They're going to get it tonight.
That's funny, man. That's funny. Once again, from Rich, from Izzy, the RedZone Report post-game show. We are Built in Buffalo. The Buffalo Bills are your AFC East division champions. Ladies and gentlemen.
2023. Let's go.
Take us out of here, Izzy.
All right. Look, everybody, y'all have a splendid evening. Playoffs next week. Come see us after the game. Much love. Go Bills. Peace.